We have the latest now on today's major story, the accused clergy list. The Providence Diocese releasing 50 names of priests and other clergymen who have been credibly accused of sexual abuse against minors.
Of these accused, only 19 are still alive today. The date of birth of the clergy listed go as far back as the early 1900s. Also released this morning a video message from Bishop Thomas Tobin in which he apologizes to the victims and many more. Eyewitness News reporter Kim Kalunian is working this story all day long. She joins us now live outside the Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul in Providence with reaction. Kim?
Well, Mike and Caroline, this list of priests dating back to the 1950s only includes the names of those men that the diocese says have been credibly accused. But now some folks are calling the diocese definition of credible into question. The names of 50 men make up a list of priests and other clergy in the Providence Diocese who have been credibly accused of sexual abuse against minors. Of them, 31 are dead and 19 still alive. The living have all been removed or resigned from active ministry.
The publication of this list is an expression of the transparency we want to encourage and the accountability we need to accept.
Bishop Thomas Tobin releasing a video alongside the list, which adds Providence to a growing number of dioceses who've published similar information.
We're glad to see that they released something. I don't think that's a complete list. I think there's a lot more out there.
State Representative Carol Hagan McEntee reacting to the list Monday alongside her sister, Dr. Ann Hagan Webb, who says she survived sexual abuse at the hands of a priest when she was a young girl. Webb's alleged abuser was listed as publicly but not credibly accused by the diocese on Monday.
I don't like it. It's insulting.
Webb and McEntee both point to legal documents from 2007 where Bishop Tobin disclosed there were 125 priests accused of childhood sexual abuse. Monday's list names 50.
The idea that at least 75 people came forward who weren't credible is ludicrous. Instead, there's thousands of people who aren't coming forward at all because they're too ashamed to even say it.
Tobin says the men listed are not necessarily guilty of the crimes they're accused of. The list does not reveal how many victims each priest or clergy member is alleged to have had or when the alleged abuse took place.
There's probably hundreds of victims for these 50, maybe 1,000. You know, I have no idea. But that would be something I think the public should know.
And in his video message today, Bishop Tobin also apologized to the victims and their families. Now, coming up new at 6, one of the things the list does show is where these priests were assigned to work. We'll take a look at how often some of them were moved around. Coming up new next hour. For now, reporting live in Providence, I'm Kim Kalunian, Eyewitness News.
Tonight at 6 with team coverage on the release of a list of priests and clergymen credibly accused of sexual abuse. The list released this morning includes 50 names.
Bishop Thomas Tobin also released a video message about the list.
The publication of this list is an expression of the transparency we want to encourage and the accountability we need to accept.
However, some say the list does not go far enough and leaves a lot out. Eyewitness News reporter Kim Kalunian begins our team coverage now live from Providence. Kim?
Well, Mike and Caroline, the Massachusetts-based nonprofit called Bishop Accountability says Providence is one of the last dioceses in the country to release a list like this. And now some survivors say these 50 names are likely just the tip of the iceberg.
I don't believe this list.
Childhood sexual abuse survivor Dr. Ann Hagan Webb calls into question a list of priests and clergy released by the Providence Diocese Monday. The diocese finding all 50 men were credibly accused of sexual abuse of minors.
Do you think their definition of credibly accused is accurate?
Absolutely not.
No.
The diocese says they only published the names of men in cases where evidence supported the claims against them. Some were criminally convicted, others were never charged. The list does not reveal how many victims each priest or clergy member is alleged to have had or when the alleged abuse took place, but it does list the priest's assignments.
Some of them have been moved 15 times, 12 times, 13 times, 16 times. That speaks thunder. There's a problem with a priest when they're moved that often.
State Representative Carol Hagan McEntee is Webb's sister and sponsor of the newly enacted law on childhood sex abuse statute of limitations. They have this message for Catholics.
Make your church accountable. Stop paying, stop giving the money. Find another church if you need to.
Get outraged. It's time to get outraged.
It really is.
And in his video statement today, Bishop Thomas Tobin did apologize to the victims and their families. We did ask for an interview with either Tobin or the head of the Diocese Office of Compliance who compiled this list. Those requests were declined. Live in Providence tonight, I'm Kim Kalunian, Eyewitness News.